What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Barrier to Entry on Lock and Load. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Lock and Load is the map where we have to capture 5 specific points on the map called locks. To capture a lock, both players need to have a unit standing on the lock simultaneously for 20 seconds uncontested by the enemy to turn it green. If the enemy stands on a lock uncontested for 10 seconds, it turns red and starts a timer bar that ticks as long as it remains uncontested and fills faster the more uncontested locks he has. If the bar reaches full, we lose. Enemies get a 100 health shield upon first taking damage, and they revive upon death. Mineral shields with barrier spawn over our mineral patches every 2 minutes.
So we have Eviling and Herman in the call with us today. Eviling and Herman, how are you guys?
Great.
Doing good.
Good.
Be on my first call with Herman.
Nice. So, Eviling, how will we rank the commanders this week?
So this week, because of the map, it's a pretty easy map to deal with, and the mutators not too bad. It's rated as a brutal +4 map, and because of how lock and load goes, it would be easier. But you have your extra mutator,
The
your
ally. How does that affect the rankings?
So your barrier and just die you need to have commanders who can brawl, but also can sustain for in duration of the brawl. Mineral shields don't have that big of an impact on it, but there are commanders that help with economy. So anything that could help you to spur on early, due to the nature of lock and load, if you can end the mission early, it will help out. And as I mentioned, the ally issue. So any commanders who have the ability to say, ally, please get on the lock now, will definitely be able to rank higher.
Exactly.
And again, the brawling and being able to sustain while staying on the locks.
How about you, Herman?
We have seen, Barrier and Just Die for a lot of times, but for this time, fortunately, it's on lock and load. So that would be, the early game pressure isn't that big. Early is before like 90 minutes, because I think it's after 90 minutes, like 2 minutes, and then 2 attack waves coming from both sides, right?
Yes.
So we want to make sure we end the game before about like 20 minutes. So ally problem is a big issue here.
Yes.
I would say. And another thing is that the mineral shield also has barrier, so it makes a lot of commanders to destroy the shield slower, which makes you have low economy. For some commanders, it's like a big issue, but for others are not that big.
Let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
So, because of Just Die and Barrier, your early learning is kind of slow because you need to use more toxicness. And so let's say you want to kill a stalker, and you use one nest, and then it revive, and it also have the shield on it, the barrier on it. So if you don't wait the barrier to disappear, you still need 2 nests to kill that stalker. So
Yes.
early game learning is really slow. It definitely depends on your skill. But I think after you get 3 brutalists, and then just build up your army, and you'll be fine for that. I give Abathur a B tier.
B?
B tier.
All right.
Boy tier.
How about you, Eviling?
I agree with Herman regarding Abathur's early game is going to be slow, but everyone's early game is going to be slow due to the Just Die and Barrier. Once Abathur gets going, Brutalists, they have their deep tunnel. They're able to get on locks pretty on there. They're all pretty good. They're sustained. They'll be able to get through the second life of Just Die and the Barrier pretty handily. I have him from A to S, and the reason I contemplated on S, I didn't think so because his ability to say ally, please get here, is a little not as straightforward as the people have it in S. So to do the ally get here, wipers, and preferably if your ally has like an idle worker or something, snag that so they can't F2 army off of it, or if they are a non-Dehaka Zerg commander, steal one of their overlords.
Yes. Do you think it's A to S, Herman?
Well, I think it kind of depends on the AI, because AI matters AI matters your biomass. So
Yes, absolutely.
if you can't get enough biomass, your army your army just is not really good. Yeah, you just need a lot of biomass. And from my experience, if you get Sky Terran or even Sky Toss,
You can basically never get a Brutalisk.
yeah. No, it's not about the brutalist, but it's just about the biomass for your entire army. Yeah.
For me, he's actually B because the early game really drags him down here. To Just Die, is super painful because it takes you twice the number of toxic nests just to get your first ultimate evolutions. And you need to be really good in the first place to even get that fast of a Brutalisk. But now that you have twice the health and also the barrier to work with, I think that initially pulled him down to C. But what brought him back to B for me is the fact that he can just camp the locks with a couple of swarm hosts each, and they will never get captured by the enemy. You can kind of just take however long your ally decides that you will take. But I don't think he's A or S because the early game really takes away points from how effectively he can do this now. His early game relies entirely on how quickly he can get his first ultimate evolution. With barrier and just die, especially against Terran, it's gonna be nightmare, absolutely nightmarish. That's why I have him in B. But what do you think, Eviling? Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds perfectly fair to me. The only thing I would like to add, mineral shields hurts Abathur a little bit because he needs quite a few minerals to get started and to have something that can sustain. But after a while, the mineral shields don't matter. You kind of don't even need to be making spines for him after a certain point to kill the shields because he's floating so much minerals.
All right,
but
so
yeah, I'm willing to concede to B.
All right, okay. Eventually, we all agree to B. Let's move on. Alarak, where do we have him?
Alarak, I have him solid A. He has really good ability to brawl. He has good sustain just due to the Alarak unit on anything that dies. I mean, of course, it's going to take longer for things to die due to the two first mutations, but he's able to sustain, stay on the locks, and he has, if only P0 or P1, he does have ability to say, ally, please get here. Not the most reliable way, but he has a way compared to other commanders.
Very not reliable, I would say. So how about you, Herman?
Yeah, I think Alarak is definitely a solid A tier. You have great DPS. You can either use Wrathwalkers or you can use Ascendants. And if AI is like Portals and Reavers, you can also use Destroyers.
Mass Destroyers, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Unanimous A. Without Prestige, is it still A?
Without Prestige, he still has the ability to say, allies, please get here. And just to be clear, that ability is the Death Fleet. So you're going to call it and you're going to start teleporting your ally. Keep in mind that with P0 and P1, there is no cooldown on that teleport. So even if ally kind of refuses, while the Death Fleet is up, you can keep on forcing them back onto the lock.
That's kind of funny. Anyway, so there we go. Alarak stays in A. Arcturus, where do we have him?
So I think Arcturus is pretty good for this week because
pretty good.
You have ESOs and you just firstly you build them your natural and then clear the mid lock and then you build them on the mid lock and kill everything else, right? So and also you can use Contended Strike on the upcoming waves. Because the upcoming waves they will just stay there and you can just kill them. Yeah. So that you don't need to worry about that. Yes. I think Arcturus can be S tier for this week.
How about you, Eviling?
I would like to say Arcturus is S. I have a special place in my heart for Manx, but I would not consider him S. I would actually consider him from B to C. My reasoning is he has absolutely no way to say, ally, please get here. He can sustain the map by going onto the central lock, ESOs, clear up the way, and do everything, but you're dependent upon your ally cooperating or not screwing things over. And he does have the ability to cap locks real good. So I would definitely incline to be more toward the B on my B to C range, but I can easily be convinced to A, but not S.
What do you think, Herman? Are you going to make a case for S?
If you if you just slaughter everything, do you still care if ally will be in the lock?
You can't win the game if ally can't get to the lock.
Then you just quit and start another game and hope you get
I think there's a faulty assumption here. There seems to be an assumption by Eviling that that some allies will just refuse to end the game by standing on the lock. I don't think that's how even some of the worst allies perform. They usually take a while throwing all their armies at the bonus. Yeah, but after the bonus, they usually don't have much issue going to the lock after the bonus has died. I think even though Arcturus can take his time, he can definitely stall, I think, the enemies. But for me, he's A, not quite S. Because, he doesn't have the option to just pull the ally straight to the lock. And I don't think he's the fastest either. He can get Earth Splitters, but that takes a lot of building, that takes macro, that takes lots of control, mass building, and then targeting, then timing Earth Splitter shots. And also, you need to have troopers at your main and your expansion shooting down the barriered mineral shields. That's why I don't think he's quite S. I personally have him an A. But what do you guys think?
Very good
Well,
points.
I mean, his early game, like I mean, Minsk early game just rely on bunkers and troopers, right? So like let's say if the enemy is like Zealot or something that is just really tanky, and your bunker probably kill them really slow. And then you just forget to clear your middle shields. So probably you have less
That will
econ
be an
early
issue.
game.
That will definitely be an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was originally thinking that because this map is really slow, so it's kind of slow, not really slow. So it should be. I mean, you should have enough time for all the stuff going on. That's what I originally thought.
Yeah.
I would like to interject a little bit. It's really slow, but if it gets too slow to the point of 20 minutes, Minx doesn't have that type of staying power to really deal with Just Die and Barrier for long periods of time.
I agree with that.
So-
That's why I had him in A, not S.
Yes. And I kind of retract my comment a little bit about he has no way to say ally get here. He does, and I've done this before, but it's real janky. You just make a lot of troopers or laborers and kind of Stukov it away just by surrounding his units, his ground units, and forcibly pushing them. You can, but it's not easy to do. If he's slightly near the lock, you can kind of bring it, but the further locks, yeah, it is.
I have
Don't rely on
Stukov.
that.
I have Stukov some guys before inadvertently. I didn't even want to.
Yeah, let's just put him in A tier. Yeah.
All right. We eventually reconcile to A tier. That's good. Artanis, where do we have him?
Artanis, I have him from A to B. Just due to his nature, he even P3, you are able to make an ally who doesn't have the brawling capability or sustaining ability for these barrier and Just Die engagements. Give them that tankiness in order to hopefully come out on top of it, and his ability to put the power field where he wants. So if per se you do have a proactive ally, he's able to clear a lock. You're able to just put the power field there and put an observer and cap the lock and keep on moving forward and pushing the map.
All right. How about you, Herman?
I'm still hesitating about B or C in my mind because in my mind, if you don't use P3 Artanis, like your Dragoon is just like because the enemy has revive and barrier, so you kill the enemy really slow if you don't have P3. Like even though you have an army, but I mean your DPS it's not that high, and because Dragoons are projectiles, so
They won't one-shot the enemy, so they will always trigger barrier.
yeah. But I mean, because of revive, so every unit will have barrier because of revive.
I
So-
agree. I think Zerglin compositions in particular will be nightmarish for Artanis to fight
Yeah,
you.
for Artanis, if you don't have P3, it's just gonna be a nightmare for Artanis. So I think I would put him in C tier. Yeah, because you just kill the enemy too slow.
What do you think, Eviling?
Well, I had him from A to B. Herman did allude that he could be B. C, I'm a little iffy on that. Again, he does have the ability to help an ally
That's true. But
either way to sustain through those engagements. So buying you a few extra seconds can mean the difference between capping that lock or not.
I agree. I personally had Artanis in B. My mentality is that I also have an idea to just defend the locks with an observer and having your power field off cooldown. So when things get there, you just warp in some dragoons, and then you activate the emergency shield overcharge, the emergency shield overcharge, and try to just fight them until your main army arrives or something. It'll be slow, but it's not terrible, I think. So I'm also okay with B to C for Artanis. I had him in B.
Yeah, I know. I see you guys' points because like from my perspective, like DPS is too essential. But if you can just help tank or like help your ally tank because you have emergency shield, so it's kind of like support your ally, and like if both of your armies can tank a lot, it's like a carry, right? It's kind of a carry for Artanis.
Kind of. Plus, in the early game, you can open both expansions, so at least both mineral rocks in the expansions using your Archon dudes. That's pretty neat. Fast expansions for both of you guys.
And that helps with the
okay.
third mutation of mineral shields, getting your economy going.
Quite.
Okay, so P3 can be a B tier, but non-P3 can't. Yeah, P3 can be B
All right.
tier.
Are we all okay with B?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Dehaka, where do we have him?
Haka, well, P2 is definitely recommended, and I think you just do the
Normal
usual
stuff,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, but like you eat an enemy, but you can't kill it. You need to eat it again. So that's like a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think there are another difference at all for the Haka. Like you just do the usual,
The usual.
except you eat them. Yeah, except you eat them twice. And Glyvic doesn't care about revive at all because the fire doesn't care.
You'll kill both lives.
Yeah, and the barrier. So
And
I
the
said
barrier.
he can be S tier for this week.
What do you think, Evil Link?
I had Dehaka from A to B. He does suffer kind of what Abathur deals with at the very beginning. It's hard for him to get that essence, but P2 alleviates that because who really cares about Dehaka when you got these over buff pack leaders?
Yeah.
So he does play normally. I am more leaning toward. I would not put him on S because, again, he doesn't have the ally get here option. The only thing he could do is
Defend the
make a bunch of
locks.
lings, make a bunch of drones, and try to Stukov push them into the lock.
Sounds so janky. My goodness.
It is. It's incredibly janky.
So are you firm on your B to C?
I said A to B.
Oh, A to B. Actually, I had him an A personally. He's really good. He can just do the usual stuff. For me, I will just go the defend the locks route until your ally feels the need to go there. I might just park some impalers or creeper hosts there to kind of defend them. And when a big wave arrives, just call out a pack eater, clean out the thing, and then once it's cleaned out, send the pack eater back on offense, clear the rest, and then just kind of wait until your ally is done with the bonus, or you could just take care of the bonus yourself. You have creeper hosts. They have pretty good damage against single target objectives like the Xel'Naga construct, so you can kind of just
Or
even
it could be,
something like that.
or it could be worse than the bonus. They could be trying to clear out the bases.
Something like that. But I don't think I don't encounter that ally often. In fact, I rarely encounter allies who go further than the main objective and the bonus objective for lock and load. I have him an A because he's really good. He plays normally, but it doesn't quite have the ease and the is there even mutator on feel that S commanders would have. That's why I have him an A. What do you guys
Agreed.
think?
I am totally for A.
How about you, Herman?
Oh, but I still think he is like the top A if he can't be S.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, top of A works for me. All right,
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's just put him top of A.
great. Phoenix.
Because revive still counts a little bit for him in early game. Yes.
Phoenix, where do we have him?
Phoenix will be my first S because he can brawl, he can sustain, and
can
he
say,
has ally get over
Ally,
here.
get over here. That's funny. How about you, Herman?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just do the usual, and because like any type of AI, the early game, I think except the Sky Terran will have some air unit, but for most AI, they're all like ground, and even Vikings will come down and can just use Cordalis to kill them. Yeah, so just do the usual and teleport your ally. Don't forget that. Yeah.
I personally had him in A because I find that just flying straight into the last two locks, the north lock and the east lock, doesn't always work. I fly in with my Arbiter suit, recall Phoenix and a bunch of Zealots. Sometimes it's not enough. But if both of you guys say that it's S, I'm willing to concede. All right, let's have Phoenix in S. I personally had him in A, but both of you had
I
him in
don't
S.
think I don't think you need to flag them. Like you just do the usual.
Wait,
Yeah.
you just punch
don't
straight
need to-
through?
yeah, don't need to
You
use
go front
Arcturus
door?
flag.
Brute force.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
not
like-
necessarily front door. Like if you're going for the top right lock, you don't go from like the bottom right.
You go
up
from
to
the
top
central
right.
lock, go through the top
Yes.
path. Yeah, that's what I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not
Bypass all that noise.
It's not super fast. I played that and it had the Dehaka ally. It's not super fast, but it does work. I can confirm it does work. It's not super fast, but it's reasonably fast. I think we only got up to like the 14-minute wave, and that was perfectly handled by the Dragoon suit. So I'm okay with S. Yeah. Personally, I have an A, but I'm okay with S. Hot and Horner, where do we have him?
Okay, so Han Horner. Well, your early game kind of just depends on your top bars, and because of revive, so you need to split your mag
Mag
mines.
mines, true.
Yeah, to kill the enemy. If you just put them together, I mean, you probably cannot kill even one attack wave.
That's sad.
Yeah, and just like don't waste your top bars and use them to push, because like you need a lot of time to get enough Reapers and Hellions or something else. And Strike Fighter are good against ground enemy,
Quite good.
of course.
Quite
yeah, because they
effective.
don't shut up. And you can use it to push as well. So yeah, just use the top bar well. For this week and building up army, and just watch out Vipers. No, not Vipers. Watch out storms and
Fungals, siege tanks.
yeah, just
doors.
fungals. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Letter.
I would give him a B tier.
Okay. How about Eviling?
Yeah.
That's pretty generous. B tier. I gave them from B to C. Han and Horner. I love playing Han and Horner, but for this, they are going to struggle.
Yes.
They have a few things working against them. So the commanders that
keyword few.
A lot of commanders don't care too much about mineral shields. That's one of the least or the lesser of the mutators in this. Han and Horder cares because in order to deal with mineral shields, you're using your top bars usually, or if you're on the earlier locks, then you can send army back and clear out your mineral shields pretty quickly. But once you get to the later locks or the further locks, then you're going to be using a set of mag mines. You're going to be using a strike fighter to clear those mineral shields, and you want to do that because not clearing it really hurts Han and Horder, especially if you're going Reaper heavy or something to that extent. Salvage helps, but you're still losing out minerals, and you need to have that to sustain your pushes. So yeah, B on a very good day, good comp, but I would say I'd be leaning a little more towards C for them.
Have you guys considered using the second prestige and just massing, well, quote unquote, massing battle cruisers? Because I don't think trading against just die is a viable solution for Han and Horner here.
Agreed. Agreed.
That also works. Yeah, that also works.
I think it's actually a more solid option to just kind of get like 6.
Hang back until you can get your BCs going.
Yeah, 6 battle cruisers or so, and then you can just kind of push straight forward, just chunk out the enemy bit by bit, and then when the next wave comes, just teleport your battle cruisers. They'll handle it just fine. That's what I think. That would, I think, put him in the B range. Without that, I think they are decidedly C for me.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like if you use P2, you need to put your mag mines like in advance. Yeah.
Yes. And also with the second prestige, I can also just keep my galleons and my hellions in my base. Just shoot down those pesky shields.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we agree on C, or rather B.
I think B tier is.
B is fine to me. I would just like to add for your battle cruisers, you don't need to research the tack jump for them because they come with tack jump.
Yes.
But you'd still like to
Get
research it
your
because
Ravens.
Yes.
Ravens,
Ravens, siege them up at the locks, cap it, keep it capped.
To be clear, for me, what clinches Han and Horder in B is that ultimately this is still a relatively easy mutation. If this was a more difficult one, they would definitely be down in C at the highest.
Agreed.
Karax, where do we have him?
Karax. So his ability to get on locks is a little trickier, but if he can get on a lock, he can make sure that lock stays in your possession for a good amount of time.
He can even cat and push.
So pretty much. I have him from B to C. He needs to be able to cap those locks, and you need to get it done sooner than later because mineral shields do start chunking out your economy after a while, and it's a lot of paying attention. Okay, mineral shields are up. Look back on base and kill those shields as soon as possible, but it's not as fast because it'll just die. So
the mineral shields don't get just die.
Oh,
they don't.
Sorry, they get barrier.
Not if you just orbital strike them.
Orbital strike
doesn't trigger that.
Orbital strike one-shots them.
Okay. So that actually changes my mind compared to the other person I had. So I would actually move Karax a little toward A to B. Now remember knowing that orbital strikes is going to clear out those
one shot clears
shields.
2 or 3 middle shields at a time. That's quite cost effective. So
extremely cost effective.
How about you, Herman?
Well, so for Karax, so usually you use solar lens like once to kill the attack wave, but now you need to use 2 times, probably 3 times because of the
Yeah,
barrier. Like, yeah,
because of the barrier.
yeah, probably 3 times. If you don't wait for the barrier to disappear, you just need three solar lens.
And just let the fire do the rest.
Yeah,
If
so
found.
fire upgrade is quite essential for pushing.
Yes.
And there are some AI that deals a lot of damage to structures like immortals or
Reapers.
For
tanks.
those, for those,
Yeah.
I say make energizers with the reclamation upgrade.
Oh,
Steal
like
Amon's
Raku,
immortals.
just
Steal
steal,
Amon's
oh,
siege tanks.
You don't have to deal with just die.
You don't have to
You don't
deal
have to
just
deal with
die.
barrier.
Or
And
those
barrier.
immortals,
Oh,
or those siege
that's true.
tanks. That's what I would do.
But do you have enough gas for that many
What else are you
energizers?
What else are you gonna use that gas
Uh,
on? I won't make a. You don't need a lot of them. You don't need a lot of them. Like
Yeah,
2 per lock
Arcturus.
should be fine.
Okay.
Just don't lose them en masse.
Yeah, just don't lose them.
Yeah,
Like, you have
a lot of
Unity
them.
barrier, so
Yeah.
it's
It's
a little bit slave for
fine.
that.
Letter.
I put him in A because
Yeah.
like he can just one shot the minor shield. Also for Dehaka's
Worms.
Dehaka worms like they deal like 50 damage, which equals to
Nice.
the HP of the shield.
That's
So,
incredible.
yeah.
That's
Just want to point it.
That's fantastic. Okay, so I think we all agree on A in the end. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unanimous. Kerrigan, where do we have him?
Kerrigan. Well, like because of just die and barrier, like the usual strategy for Kerrigan is to like use
Mobilization
P2
wave.
and push really fast and end the game before like 11 minutes. But there are barriers and revive, so
Yes.
it's a little bit hard to do that
Little bit
before 11 minutes.
tricky. Yeah.
And you need and because the enemy won't die and they will just keep attacking your Kerrigan, and your Kerrigan will be in really low health. So your early game is not that good, but it's not that bad though.
Not that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I think P2 is still doable for
Yes.
this one. Yeah, and because you can just crowd control the enemy, and then you and your ally can just kill them. I think Kerrigan is a B tier.
How about you, Eviling?
I'm a little biased. I've seen a lot of people do really good work with Kerrigan on lock and load. I mean, really good work. So I have her in A. She has the tool to help boost economy, aka simulation aura. And Omega Worms, after the initial investment, they're free. So just spam them all over the place. You can stall waves nicely and allows you to deal with just die and barrier.
Sure.
Because you're just stalling it.
I
And gives your allies that know how to use Omega Worms mobility to get on the locks.
Well, it's up to them whether they want to use the Omega Worms.
Of course. It's just more incentive.
So we have Herman putting Kerrigan in B and Eviling putting Kerrigan in A. I personally would lean more towards B personally because Kerrigan has that distinct feature of if Kerrigan dies, she's set back so much. She gets delayed by a whole minute, and that's a long time.
Very true.
On lock and load. And another thing is air comps. She's not fantastic against air, especially when the air guys have 2 lives and barrier. That's gonna make things quite irritating for her to fight if the enemy has corsairs, carriers. Yeah, I see her having a tough time against air, so I would call her comp dependent, and I would stick her in B personally. Do you think I got it wrong?
I agree with that. I definitely don't disagree. As I said, I'm kind of biased toward Kerrigan because most of the people that I know that play Kerrigan play it to a real high level and
Very high
wouldn't
level.
lose her. But yeah, we're talking about
I know what you're
pub
talking
allies
about.
and yeah.
I agree.
So
I agree completely.
I'm willing to concede to B.
All right. Nova, where do we have him?
Nova, she can brawl defensive drones. She has the DPS. That's just how Nova is, and she has the ability of a ally get here.
Yes.
So another S.
All right. How about you, Herman?
Yeah, like I think she is definitely an S tier. So usually you use Griffin Airstrike to kill the enemy, but then it revives, so you just kill them again with your armies or your top bars or nukes, if you like. Yeah, you probably just do the usual. Instead, like there are like battle cruisers and carriers on the south lock. So you probably want to watch out for that. You just do the same. You have defensive drones, and yeah, and you can also support your ally a little bit. So I think she can be S tier.
All right, unanimous. I also had Nova in S. There we go. Raynor, where do I have him?
Sorry, I just want to ask something. Do you think Nova P3 is better here or P1?
I actually need Nova to be able to attack. I wouldn't use the third prestige here. I would rather have more liberators, and I would have Nova attacking. I get that the third prestige has a cool polar trick of just Amon not even dodging your attacks, but they have 2 lives. So I think having to use 2 sabotage drones will take too much time. I'd rather just use Liberator's defensive drone, and
Yeah,
I think an
and
important
assault
feature.
mode is pretty good.
Yes,
I
assault mode
completely
is pretty
agree with
good,
that.
but I would rather have Nova just snipe the air because Liberators are really good anti-ground. But I would just like to have the snipe against the air units to supplement the Seeker missile spam to help take out the air stuff, especially when they come in waves.
And double tapping shotgun on ground is still viable. So
Yes.
not having that is going to hurt P3. I would definitely avoid that because you are extending the amount of time it takes to kill. You're waiting for your cooldown of your Sabo drone and you waiting for a second one. That's going to push the game past 20 minutes.
Something like that. Yeah. Raynor, where do I have him?
And if you, I just want to say, if you guys face Scourge, use Command Center and flow them up. So for Raynor, well,
If I'm playing against Scourge, he'll just
early
mass
game-
ghosts.
Yeah, for Raynor, well, his early game is kind of slow. You only have your 2 tall bars, right? You only have your 2 tall bars.
Only 2.
And the enemy will be kind of tanky, and so I mean they will revive and have barriers, so your Hyperion just kill them slower. And it just takes a lot of time for Raynor to set up his army, and I don't think Bio is good against this kind of mutators because you need to trade, and there are middle shield in your base. So yeah, so I don't think Bio is a really good option here. I give Raynor a C tier in my mind. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Eviling?
I have Raynor from soft E to a hard C. He's kind of in the same boat as Artanis. He has the ability to, if ally is proactive and clearing the locks, he can easily drop a marine onto the lock and capture it. But he doesn't have the same type of sustain that Artanis has. He's very flimsy, and his brawling ability is just not there. It takes him a while to get his brawling ability online, and by then you should have ended the map already. The only thing he has going for him is if the map goes on further and you're not playing P1, mineral shields don't matter. You just drop mules, and that makes up for all that lost economy on mineral shields.
Another thing I would
it
say
would still be good to break them, but you can kind of ignore it if you wanted to.
Another thing I would say that goes well for him is that he can kind of put bunkers and siege tanks at the locks that he did capture, so that even if the ally takes a while, he can just kind of sit on it and not really worry about the enemy stealing those locks that you already have captured. That's what I think. Anyway,
Bunkers,
I also
siege tanks and spider mines.
So we all are okay with C?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Statboy S. Let's move on. No, just kidding. Statboy, where do I have him?
I would like to give Stetboy an S, but I have him at an A. The
All right.
reasoning is he can brawl, but he doesn't have the ability to say, ally, get here.
All right, fair. How about you, Herman?
He
I think you guys just count too much on that point. Like the Stepway can support your ally. You have the green zone, and
Yes.
even you have blue zones to support your ally. too.
You
Like,
also have
that-
overcharge.
Yeah, overcharge. And what else I want to say? So I mean, your Zerglings are so tanky and
Very
'cause-
tanky.
Yeah, everything. Because revive and barrier doesn't increase the enemy's DPS. They just stay there longer, and so you just have your green zone on and green zone and the overcharge on, so enemy cannot even kill your units.
You have green zone on unless ally is not on the lock. Then you turn on blue zone and say you don't get healing until you get on the lock.
Something like that.
I mean, first you kill the enemy first. You kill the enemy first with green zones, and then you probably switch to purple zones to regenerate energy, and then you switch to blue zones to let your ally come here quickly. But if your ally doesn't even come, blue zone cannot work. Yeah.
Exactly.
For me, he's actually S because he can just you have the ultimate early game with
Yeah, like
Super Gary.
your early game is really good.
And late game, you can just keep recharging your infestors, and the enemy will never get to the locks. Never. They will never get there.
Fair. That's fair.
Mineral shields. What are they? I just need gas.
Pretty much. That is very true. That is
But
very
yeah,
true.
if both of you guys have him in A. Oh wait, Herman, what do you have? Where do you have Stat Boy?
I have him as.
Oh,
I have
S
him
also.
as.
Okay. So
I
So I'm
never
the
tried.
outlier.
I never tried to use lurkers to clear the mineral shield. I think it would be really good. Like lurkers ability, like just
I'll just have
yeah.
spines.
Just spine crawlers.
I mean, I wouldn't
They would
even
take
bother killing. I'll just get the gas. Who cares about minerals anyway? As that boy,
minerals is still matters a little bit because you kind of need to rebuild your zerglings a little.
I
Yeah.
guess. I just make
Yeah.
more infestors.
Yeah,
Anyway,
in fact, that does work.
so
Yes.
what do you think, Eviling? Is S okay for you?
I would be, as I mentioned earlier, I definitely wanted to put him in S. Is just the idea of he doesn't have a force ally command. But the points that you made are convincing me toward S because he has so much power, he has so much sustain, he does have a lot of support to himself and ally. And
Oh wait, you can kind of
Yeah.
Stukov your ally using the Roach Ravager
Exactly.
and even Zerglings.
Yeah, and you have blue zones so that you move faster and you clomp them faster.
Yeah, blue zone.
And
Alright.
he has so much firepower that he could pretty much, even if the map goes up to 20 minutes, he still can brawl pretty good, even with Just Die and Barrier. So yeah, I'm willing to go along and say S. I wanted to put him in S, and you guys made the points for it.
All right, Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov. So we mentioned a lot about Stukoving your ally into position. So he has that ability, but we also said it's janky as heck to do it. I'm not too sure what prestige to recommend, if it's P1, P3, P0, what to be doing for this. I have Stukov from B to C because it's still going to be a little janky. He, with all his infested, he has quote unquote that sustain to deal with barrier and Just Die just by kind of just stalling stuff there. Now, to cap a lock, that's a little different story because of how Psi emitter works. If it's a Depth Stukov ally, then they can split their infested forces around and cap multiple things, or better, use your Psi emitter to focus in one area on one lock, and then when you're ready to cap it, send your Overlord.
Yes.
It's still going to be a trudge through it. And there's that pesky third mutation, Mineral Shields. You still have to devote APM to make sure that thing goes down.
Stukov absolutely cares
does-
about mineral shields, yeah.
Exactly. So again, B to C.
How about you, Herman?
Oh, well, for Stukov against Mineral Shield, you have the Diamondback. The slime can kill the shield, so you just
That's really
one
funky.
patrol one Diamondback at your mineral area.
Yeah, I love that. I love
It just
that.
automatically kills. Yeah.
That's amazing. I
That's
should
definitely
try that.
one of the more creative ways to deal with mineral shields as Stukov.
That's amazing. I should do that.
That's the usual way I play. Because I know this skill like 1 year ago probably. Yeah. So
yeah.
I do this, and it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. You just patrol one Diamondback at the mineral area, and you don't even need to look back. Yeah. But for Stukov, yeah, he has a problem about DPS a little bit. Because you have top bars for tanking, but I think you kill the enemy a little bit slow. Alexander is a good top bar because you steal
the air units.
steal the air units, and they won't have revival barrier again. Just don't teleport the battlecruiser back to your
No, do
yeah.
Unless allies not getting on the locks, then by all means.
Teleport the
call all
battlecruisers to the bonus. So
Motivate them.
to disincentivize
that
going
you
there.
You don't gonna kill the bonus. Yeah, they will give up. Yeah, yeah. Please just don't do that. Yeah, I think you just like mass bunkers and well, like he just killed the enemy a little bit slower. So I think you still need other units to support your infested. Like you can build tanks or you can use liberators. Yeah, just depends on the AI a little bit. So I give him a B tier. Yeah.
B? Alright.
I think he is better. Yeah, he is better than Raynor.
Alright, so I think we
Absolutely.
pretty much all have him in B, so let's have him in B. Swann, where do we have him?
Swann, your pushing is kind of awkward because like usually you use your top bars for pushing, but then they revive. So I'm not sure if like the P1 factory fleet will work better here. I'm not sure. I didn't try this. But at least your static defense is really good. So unless there are like immortals or something, other AIs, your tower just slaughter them. I think he just has a problem about pushing. Like it's kind of slow. You need to use Wraith to push. So I give him I think it's a between B and C, but not sure which one should Swann be. Yeah, not sure if he should be B or C tier.
How about you, Eviling?
When I was thinking about Swann, I had him kind of compared, of course, to Karax.
Yeah.
And if he can clear the lock, his ability to sit down on the lock and say, you're not taking this back aim on is pretty damn
solid.
Good. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of P1 for sure, just because it's going to just keep on chunking. Okay, just die triggered. Nice. take more laser. Something that a lot of players do not use on Swann and they should be using, perk transports, teleport to the locks and then start capping it. It's a really solid way to do it. You drop, if the lock gets cleared, put in a bunch of SCVs into that herc transport, teleport it there, drop all the turrets and move on.
Move on. So letter.
So A to B.
A to B. Herman, you said B to C or something?
Yeah, because his pushing is kind of awkward in my mind.
How about we meet in the middle and say B?
Totally down for that. I definitely had a soft A, hard B.
Yeah, he is better than Raynor though. So yeah, again,
without a doubt.
All right.
So you can use like Evelyn said, you can use Hercules and just put a bunch of SCV in it and teleport them back, like just like to try to flank the lock actually. So you just build like bunch of turrets, and then just go to capture the lock so that the enemy will come, and then you turrets just kill them. Yeah, that's the way I usually play for Swann on this map. Yeah.
All right.
Just addition to that, you don't want to teleport on top of the lock because that's going to trigger the enemies to go to it. So you want to go off to the side, give your laser drill the vision to take care of whatever defenses are there. There's going to be defenses kind of harassing, but they're on the outer perimeters of the lock. And then once that's dealt with, then drop your SUVs, build up a whole bunch of stuff just on that little outskirt. And then when you're ready, then move the Herc into range of capping the lock. And then that'll trigger everything to go suicide themselves into your turrets.
All right. So B. Let's move on. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus. So he has no problems with sustaining. He has no problems with brawling. He is limited by minerals. That's his major gateway right there. But his way to deal with mineral shields, just make 1 or 2 turrets and just make sure to micro when the shields come up and you should be fine. Otherwise, he plays relatively normal. I have him from A to B.
How about you, Herman?
Yeah, just do the usual. Instead of you use 1 grenade to kill them, you use 2. The way I deal with mineral shield is I leave Sam at home and to just shoot down mineral shield, and Sam deal a lot of damage so that they don't trigger by a barrier.
That makes sense. The mineral shield spawn every 2 minutes. The first one spawns at 225. So by the time Sam comes out, you should only be on your 3rd set of mineral shields. So it shouldn't be too big of an issue. To wait for Sam.
It's actually 240, not 225.
I apologize. 240. Yeah, you're right. It's 240.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should absolutely have Sam by the time the third set of shields rolls around. So that's pretty good. So letter.
I think A tier. Yeah, A tier works for him.
Yeah, I also have him in A actually. So we're all okay with A. Let's have him in A. Vorazun. Where do we have him?
Vorazun has the usual, not a big problem though, the time stop stuff. So you can't really use it that kind of like you just cannot use it like on 4 minutes because like it will be really pressure for you and your ally. It's gonna be a really great pressure. I think you can use your time stop after you clear like 2 or 3 locks. Then you can use 1 to like go to push the 4th one, and then before you use time stop, you need to have cannons like besides the locks to defend. And because the enemy has revive and barriers, so it's gonna be hard to kill the trickles. Yeah, I just call them trickles. Yeah, it's kind of like trickles.
They are trickles.
Okay. So I'm right.
You're
Okay.
right. Of course you are.
Yeah. And Warzone kind of depend on the AI a little bit, not a little bit, a lot. It's actually a lot. Because if they're ground, like just Shadow Fury everything, but if they're air, you need to spend a lot of gas on Series to kill them faster enough.
All right.
Yeah, and unlock and load. There are a lot of detectors.
Yes.
A lot. Yeah, there are a lot of detectors, especially for Terran AI. Yeah, it's just really bad. I think Warzone, it's like I think she is C tier, but it's like top of C. Yeah,
Top of C.
top of C.
How about
Yeah.
you, Eviling?
Top. Yeah, I definitely can agree with Top C. I have her in a large range from A to C. So time stop. If you really hate your ally, use time stop as soon as it's available. The trickles. Remember, your trickles are coming in with barrier and just die. So that will make things a little more difficult. Definitely hold your time stop. And for this, usually I hold the time stop for the very last lock because usually I can get away with getting the fourth lock without it, and then just for that last push so that it makes the last lock pretty trivial.
Okay.
She does have the ability, if non P1, to say ally, please get on the lock.
Yes.
So that is
A
pretty
big deal.
major. If, as Herman alluded to, ground comp, Vorazun slaughters it nicely. Air comp, okay, we got some problems. Something to consider if you're dealing with a real nasty air comp like
Dark Archons.
Dominion Battle Group or Fleet of the Matriarch, maybe consider making Dark Archons.
This
You
could-
mind control them, and you don't have to deal with their barrier or just die shenanigans.
Or
so,
confuse them, make them fight each other.
exactly.
So
A to C.
Yeah, A to C.
It's a kind of a wide range.
I personally
As I said, I'm
have
not too sure.
Vorazun in B because she's kind of comp dependent. Not quite, not kinda. She's quite comp
Very.
dependent. And the time
Yes.
stop thing, I think at this point I've seen a bit of it. Yes, maybe don't use it at 4 minutes, but I think I agree with Herman here. After you've captured 2 locks, you can just put cannons. And the trickles brought in by the time stop won't really be able to capture a decently defended lock with, like, let's say 5 cannons guarding it and a probe to rebuild lost cannons. I think that should be fine. Even with barrier and just die, 5 cannons should be pretty decent. And you can just throw the rest of your minerals into your army. But again, comp dependent. If it's air, she
Very.
sucks. So I think that puts her squarely in B.
I completely agree with that. Initially, I had her from A to B, but considering how she is super comp dependent, I'm definitely not opposed to C either. But that's the middle ground of what we
Yeah.
have, I think.
What do you think, Herman?
Okay, so yeah, I just think like she needs to do a lot of work. So, like you need to put cannons and
Yes.
and like I think it's just a lot of work. And don't forget mineral shield. Like it's like you don't have if you don't kill the mineral shield,
It does stack up. True.
Your minerals kind of not you don't have a lot of minerals to build the cannons.
I think 2 cannons in each mineral line should be enough for that. So that's a total cost of that's a total investment of like
300 per.
600 minerals total, which isn't that big, I don't think.
She can
Well, you
afford
kill
it
the
as long as she's
you
paying
kill the
attention to
shield
middle
is really
shields.
slow.
Yeah, it's true. They kill it kind of slow, but I don't think it's a big enough deal. Maybe it is, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Especially if you're on top of looking at your mineral line, and remember that the shields hit every 2 minutes. Anyway, I think she's squarely in B, but if you're gonna make a case for C, Herman, yes, the case is that she needs a lot of work, quite comp dependent, but I still think that the fact that you can just defend the locks, and after some time you can kind of start using time stop, and with your revived Shadow Guard, you can actually push quite easily into the enemy bases.
Yeah, that's I kind of forget like what kind of trickle will be coming. Like I remember for Zerg AI, like the trickle
Roaches.
isn't that they're only like roaches, and I don't know they're probably like Lord coming. I'm
Or-
not sure.
I don't remember Dude Lords. Dude Lords probably only arrive when you haven't cleared the high ground area yet on the 5th set or in the 5th lock and the 4th
Maybe.
lock. Yeah, the high
Yeah,
ground
I didn't-
locks.
Definitely, I didn't test them.
For Protoss, they
for
send Zealots,
Protoss,
Stalkers.
you know,
For Terran, they said Marauders, sometimes fire, but I think maybe I
It's all
misremember.
Many
like
times
kinda
Ravens, many times Science
Banshee,
Vessels.
Banshees or something.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I
Banshees.
think that still puts her squarely in B. I don't think it's quite bad enough for C, since she is kind of decent. With time stop at a later time, once you have the locks defended, you can pretty much clear at least half of the high ground area and just use your army for the rest. And the more Shadow Guard you use, the more powerful your time stops will be. And again,
Yeah.
against air, that is the problem. Air is the problem. That's why she doesn't go any higher than B. Maybe a lower B, but solidly in B, I think.
The only reason I can't see C is because she has ally get here.
Yeah, that's one more thing. Ally get here, I think, just puts her just ever so slightly above C.
Yes.
What do you think, Herman?
Okay, let's just put her in like bottom of B, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Zagara, where do we have him?
Zagara. So she has a lot of brute force. She has a lot of early economy. And if you're using P3, you have really good ways of capping locks.
Yes.
I have her from A to B.
How about you, Herman?
Okay, for Zagara, I think revive is kind of like it's kind of awkward for
Yeah. It's taxing.
Zagara a
You have
little.
to kill things
Yeah,
twice.
like you use waiting brush. Like if you don't use it from like enough distance, like you just cannot kill the enemy because just due to the vulnerability type of the revive. But I mean she is really good against mineral shield because you have bio launchers to just shoot them.
Hey, bio
And it's
launchers.
automatic. Yeah, it's automatic, so you don't need to look back at all.
Yeah.
You can also help your island to clear the mineral shield if you want. Yeah, if you want.
If you got the extra gas, more like it.
Yeah, but I think Zagara is kind of AI dependent because like circling is quite good, but circling doesn't shoot up. Yeah, that's a little bit issue for Zagara. So you should use Scourge and your Hydralisk, and I'm not sure if that's enough for the anti-air problem. So I put Zagara in B actually.
How about you? Oh wait, hi. How about you, Eveling? B?
I had her from A to B, so I'd
to
be
B?
okay with B. I would just like to add, if there is air, the Corruptor's corruption ability stays on the unit even after Just Die triggers.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice. All right, so I think we have him as unanimous B. So let's put him in B. Zeratul, where do we have him?
Zeratul, I think you just play normally.
Yeah, Cannon's good.
I think care.
Demote enemies.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if spin to win is better here. I never tried spin to win like for this run. I don't know if you can end before 11 minutes.
Tutu probably can.
I didn't play it.
Tutu probably has a no mining.
No mining. Yeah. Okay.
Which negates the mineral shields completely.
Yeah, you don't care.
By the way, speaking of mineral shields, you know the mineral shields only spawn if your main building is 15 squares away from the minerals. So you can technically just put your command center 15 blocks away, and then they won't spawn at the designated time. And then once the time passes, you just float it back to regain your usual harvesting rate.
Can you just build two command centers? Can you just build two command centers, and when the shield is about to come, and
yes,
you float it
just
up.
float it up and fly it away, and then
Huh.
once the time passes, just fly it back, and then you'll resume normal harvesting rate. How about that? Anyway, that's kind of silly.
It's a lot of work.
Come on, let's just give
Silly
Zeratul.
and
Let's just give Zeratul his A. Come on.
Yep, agreed.
A, right? A.
Yeah.
Cannon's good.
Solid
Demote
A.
good.
I won't use cannon here though.
Unit's good.
Your army is really decent.
Yeah, plenty
and you
good.
have Sidar's Legion, and you just
Mind
control
control
the enemy.
so that
I don't care
the
about-
Negate
Revive.
barrier and Just Die.
yes.
and just
All right. So Zeratul A. So let's go straight into. Wait, do we do any of Phoenix, Nova, or Stet Boy deserve a double S? None of them, right? Just S. Single
Just
S.
S.
All right. So who's top of S?
that's that boy.
I think Stet Boy
Top of
too.
S.
Yeah, of course. Stet Boy, of course, top of S. And then I think Nova's next because
I would say
Liberators.
Phoenix because the Arbiter can do multiple rounds of ally kit here.
But how about tactical airlift?
Tactical airlift, if you're doing P2, you only got it every 30 seconds, so it's not as
I mean,
frequent
you don't
as
you don't,
Arbiter.
you don't need it that frequently. Usually it's only the last lock that your ally
Yeah,
saves.
only the last-
From my
Lot is
experience.
so good,
Yeah. I think Nova's get over here is better than Phoenix's get over here. Granted, Phoenix is more frequently available. Plus Nova's clearing I think is superior. She has
Yes.
I would think
That's without
better
a doubt.
anti-air. So
And she does have the ability, if ally does clear a lock on their own and Nova's on the clearing another lock, she can just drop a
drop a
unit
guy.
there.
Yeah, drop a Raven. So, Nova second.
I'll be okay with that.
All right. Top of A. Well, we were talking about Dehaka earlier, right? So is it Dehaka?
Yes.
Top of A?
yes.
Not Zeratul?
No.
Zeratul
Dehaka-
needs a little
Dehaka
more
is-
resources to get going. Dehaka is just get your primal dens,
All right.
pack leader dens.
Second in A, is it Tychus, Karax, Zeratul? Or is it Alarak? Tychus?
I think we
I think
said Tychus
Tychus.
just kind of plays normally, so that's already.
Like you just throw 2 grenades instead
Alright.
of 1.
So Tychus
Yeah.
second in A. And then after Tychus, do we have Karax? Karax
What?
because
I think it's Zeratul, right?
Zeratul? Alright, Zeratul's fine.
Yeah.
And then
Then
after Zeratul,
I'd say
Alarak?
Alarak
Yeah, I think so
because
too.
Alarak, yeah.
he pushes
Solid.
better because
Just
you still got to push into the locks.
So solid. And then next is, I think Karax before Arcturus.
Really?
I think so. Because once Karax has the locks down, he doesn't relinquish them, and his cannon pushing is actually kind of decent with Spear of Doom support. Plus, you can just mind control the big guys, make them not even a thing, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought ESO pushes much faster than cannons. Yeah.
You know what? That's also a good point. Earth Splitters are pretty good at pushing.
Yeah.
That being said, Karax's defense I think wins out a little bit more, but I'm willing to call it a tie between Karax and Arcturus. Just use whoever you prefer. If you're more offensive oriented and you like Earth Splitters, go with Arcturus. If you're coming to the game just expecting the worst ally who will throw 50 armies at the bonus objective,
And it's gonna go a little longer. Yeah,
it's gonna go a
Karax
little
will have
longer,
the better
then Karax
sustain.
I think will be superior here, just a little bit more. So yeah, let's call it a tie. Just pick whoever you like more. Okay, here's a tricky one. Who's top of B?
Yeah.
I think
I think if Karax is a Swann, kind of follows him not too far behind. So top of B, I would be inclined towards Swann.
so on top of B. Are you okay with that, Herman? I was kind of thinking Kerrigan actually.
Yeah, just give me like 10 seconds. Yeah. I consider like seven commanders.
Yeah.
No, 8.
Eight commanders.
8 commanders.
Abathur,
Yeah.
Artanis, Horner.
Kind of hard to.
Can we agree
decide.
that the bottom guys here would be Horner and Stukov?
Yeah, that sounds like their usual positions, anyways.
Okay,
Okay, I thought Warzone maybe can be like bottom of B.
bottom of B.
Yeah, like okay, so Warzone, Stukov, and Hannah.
Okay, those three are the bottom three, and then just before them is Zagara. So the top 4 in B are Abathur, Artanis, Kerrigan, and Swann. Yeah, I think it's Kerrigan top of B, followed by Abathur.
But like you can't lose Kerrigan.
If you lose
You
Kerrigan,
can't lose Kerrigan.
yeah, you can't lose
Yeah.
Kerrigan. So you just stall
And
with
then
Omega
my-
Worms and stuff.
My statement to that is you can't lose Kerrigan, and to lose your P1 laser drill is extremely hard compared to losing Kerrigan.
So you think Swann is top of B?
That's my argument for, or at least Swann being over Kerrigan, because you can have ally that's completely not there and still doing work.
You know what? That makes sense. Yeah, I'm okay with Swann being top of B.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's just put put
Swann
in
top of B. And then Kerrigan or Abathur? Abathur, I think, could also make a case depending on how quickly you can get your ultimate evolutions. I think
Yes.
what will determine Abathur's position here is how well you can get your ultimate evolutions, and ultimately, I get it. What enemy race it is. If it's Terran, Abathur is gonna be a rough commander. If it's Zerg, a little easier. Protoss also easier. So I think it'll be ultimately race dependent. So Kerrigan or Abathur next in B. So let me just put it right there. Abathur or Kerrigan. And then Artanis, then Zagara, then Vorazun, Stukov, Han, and Horner. In whatever order you prefer.
Yeah.
We can call Vorazun, Stukov, and Horner at high, at the bottom of B. And then Raynor, top of C. There we go. Alright, so do we have synergies of B and C commanders? Who would be better than a singular S commander? Yes.
Kerrigan and Abathur.
Yeah,
there
Kerrigan
are
and
a lot-
Abathur.
There are a lot of
There are a lot. And in fact,
Yeah.
any two commanders on B that would be in a party would be immediately better than one guy in S, just by virtue of, hey ally, just you can tell your ally with voice chat, hey ally, just please go over here. I'm almost done. Come on, ally, just do it. We can get the bonus next time. Just finish the game. You don't have to drag it out. I think just any
Is that
combination
1,000 XP worth it, please?
is right.
Oh, and don't forget the bonus will revive. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bonus
it's a
will
unit,
revive.
not a structure. Yeah, so it will revive.
So yeah, I think any combination of B is better than anyone in S going on the solo queue, because you have that peace of mind knowing that your ally won't have Zerlog
Yeah.
construct tattooed in his brain.
Yeah, so
Alright.
the usual CTG would do like going on solo queue, wish me luck, and but if you play with a friend, you can just tell him let's just forget bonus for this time.
Right?
Yeah.
So there we go. Any combination of B, as long as you're going with someone who knows to capture the locks, will be better than anyone in S. That's why no one's double S. Guys, watch Herman's channel. I will link it down below, and I'll see you guys next time.